What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neil back with another reaction video. This is one that you guys asked for in the comment section. We got Mack's Walk Around the Clock cookbook. Would I lie to you? Now, before we dive into this, I need you to dive into the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested, and drop your favorite suggestion in the comment section. What we got, Lee?
Having recently got into Eastern cuisine, this Christmas sees the launch of my new cookbook, Mack's Walk Around the Clock.
David, give us some of the recipes from Walk Around the Clock.
Shall I give you my favourite ones?
Give just your favourite 6 or 7.
Okay. Well, I like quite simplistic because believe it or not, simplistic.
So, raw pork.
Sweet and sour pork balls is one of my specialities.
How would you cook your sweet and sour pork balls?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how I would cook my sweet and sour pork balls. For £9.99, you can find out.
Did you go to the publishers with this idea?
I went to Penguin because they're the only book publishers I've heard of.
How keen were they? Because I have to say, if I was a publisher and you came to me,
yeah,
I wouldn't be interested.
Well, ironically, Penguin didn't pick it up straight away.
Yeah.
Did you work in conjunction with a proper chef?
Of course, I was helped a little bit.
Who? By whom?
It's a friend of mine, works at the Chinese restaurant.
What's the name of this person?
You wouldn't know him.
Well, give it a try.
Steve. Steve Jenkins.
He's telling the truth. Because he's trying to make it seem like he's lying. He's trying to make it seem like a lie to where no one would believe him. But I believe Mack's telling the truth in this one.
Right.
Steve. Steve Jenkins. I've been going into the Chinese restaurant a lot recently. And I've been really sort of learning about it and savouring the dishes. And I keep saying, Steve, this is fantastic. What is this? And then he says something in Chinese, which I don't understand. And then I said...
Steve Jenkins is Chinese.
He was adopted when he was a kid. Taken to China. But he was an English baby, yeah. This is a true story. They took Steve Jenkins. They adopted him.
Even though he was a baby, he was known as Steve.
Then he was called Baby Steve.
So this Chinese...
Then he was called Baby Steve.
Then he was called Baby Steve.
So this Chinese couple adopt baby
Stephen.
He's got his full name. He's got Steve Jenkins.
They don't change his name.
But they couldn't change his name, could they?
Continue to call him.
Yeah, because he's clearly an English baby. They knew he was going to grow up looking Western.
Was he the only Steve Jenkins in his school?
I think we should concentrate more on my ability to cook and less on my ability to understand the basic systems of adopting children and taking them to China.
What was the hardest recipe to perfect?
The hardest one to perfect was definitely the beef in oyster sauce with chilli.
How would you go about cooking that?
Well, first of all, I will get my wok. Yes.
Very bold of you.
Yeah, so I get my wok down from my wok shelf.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Oh, wok shelf?
Wok shelf, yes.
How many woks do you own?
About 7.
7 woks?
You don't... How many woks have you got?
1.
Well, that's why you haven't got a book out at Christmas, man.
Yeah.
So I light the burner, like that. That's the noise. And I heat the oil, put the oil down. Peanut oil, actually. Don't use olive oil, peanut oil. So I put the peanut oil
Sounds
round.
delicious.
The trick with the wok is not to put the oil at the bottom of the pan. It's to dribble it round the edge. You know the way same way you do a toilet duck?
Yeah.
All the way around the edge and watch it slightly go down. And the publisher said, probably don't use that analogy. Let it all sink down to the bottom like that, yeah? Give it a good spinning round.
This is peanut oil, even though an increasing number of people in Britain are allergic to
absolutely
peanuts. It doesn't bother you?
No, I make it very clear to those people on the front of the book. I say, if you have a peanut allergy, you are not welcome. I'll do that. Throw it in.
He's telling the truth, bro. He's telling the truth. I'm a firm believer. I will not be got today. Mack, you're telling the truth.
Allergy, you are not welcome. I'll do that. Throw it in. You flash fry it.
I'm there.
Then you're throwing in 3 or 4 different ingredients, depends which, there's different versions of it, but I'm going to go with the one with lots of greens. You've got lots of broccoli, you've got lots of carrots, you've got lots of a few sesame seeds, you're throwing it in. The thing is to feel the pan, feel it, become the pan, become one with the pan. You flick it up like that, stir it round. That's when you add the sauce. That's when you've got to add the sauce, the oyster sauce. But it's homemade oyster sauce. How do you make homemade oyster sauce? I'll tell you exactly how you make homemade oyster sauce.
How do you make homemade oyster sauce? I'll tell you exactly how I make it. Oh, bro, I'm about to die. I'm gonna die. I'm going to die, bro.
Homemade oyster sauce. How do you make homemade oyster sauce? I'll tell you exactly how you make homemade oyster sauce. You get some water from the tap. You soak your oysters in it. Yes, you do use oysters. You soak them for 4 weeks in water. So the water goes black. How does it go black? You get your squid ink. You squid ink it in. You mix it up. You then mash it down, in. Get it really liquid. It's on the turn, but it's not gone off. You've got to get it just on the turn. You put it in, you whisk it round. It's not anymore because stop that. It's simmering away like that. It all settles down and you pour it onto the pan like that. £9.99. The book's yours.
David, what are you thinking? It was very entertaining, but was it? Well, I say very. Was it true?
No, it wasn't true.
Do you need a little time to discuss this with your team?
No. Yeah, firstly, it wasn't true off the card to start with, because there's no way Lee would bring out that sort of book.
Why?
I've met him, it's evident.
You don't know everything
went on
about
to
me.
make it...
You don't know everything about me, David.
That your collaborator in this book is a man called Steve Jenkins, who was adopted as a baby in this country, taken back to China.
Not for long.
No, for his whole childhood.
No, he said they came back to Britain.
Yeah, but when he was an adult.
Oh, when he's an adult?
Yeah, otherwise he'd have been able to speak English now, wouldn't he?
How did you write a book with a man that only spoke Cantonese?
Well, we had an interpreter. Chinese fella called Brian Smith.
All right, Lee. Oh, my gosh. I want to say that you're lying because that's the obvious answer. It's so obvious. But is it so obvious that it's true? It's just so obvious that you're trying to make us say you're lying when you're telling the truth. That's where I struggle with. I'm going with true. Even though everything in me, my instinct, my gut, my head, all logic is pointing that you are lying, Lee. I'm going to say you're telling the truth because sometimes you just got to go away from your gut. You got to go away from logic. You got to go away from everything that makes sense in the world. And you got to jump into the world that doesn't make sense. And so I'm going with you telling the truth.
We had an interpreter. Chinese fella called Brian Smith.
I think you're incredible, man.
Incredible as in not credible.
So we're saying it's a lie. Well, the audience are on tenterhooks. Lee, was it the truth?
See, there's a slight part of me now thinking, I could actually bring this out. It's alive.
God dang it. Everything pointed toward it being a lie. But some of these guys, they just make it so obvious that it sounds like a lie, but it's really the truth. But that makes sense. I'll take my L on this one.
It's a lie. Lee hasn't written a cookbook called Lee Mack's Walk Around the Clock.
I'll take my loss. That was absolutely hilarious, though. I absolutely enjoyed that. That was a great lie. That's all we got for this one. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. It's your WIlTY out.